everyone, welcome back to the homestead. If you are new to our channel, my name is Carrie and this is my oldest daughter Esther. She's going to join me for today's video. We're huddled under our apple trees right now in the shade because the sun is back. Just like I was hoping for in last week's video that we'd have a sunny day, it's here. We're having beautiful sunny days now after a really rainy week, so I'm really thankful. And it's so lovely right now. We've got a bunch of purple irises blooming all around us under the apple trees. So anyway, today's video was supposed to be Patreon tree planting on a neighbor's property, but they're not quite ready for the trees. They're trying to get the area all prepared. They're being wise and getting everything set up first. So hopefully we'll be planting those trees for our patrons in a video in the next couple weeks here. So for today, I thought it would be fun to share our 5 favorite herbs that we love to grow for tea. 3 of them are perennials and 2 of them are annuals. So we're going to share those today, and then at the end of the video we're also going to share how we like to make cold pressed tea, because as summer comes on and the days are getting warmer, it's so refreshing to have cold pressed tea, huh? Yeah. We love to make it, so we're going to share how we make that with you at the end of today's video. So here we go, our top 5 herbs that we love to grow for tea.
First one's anise hyssop. It's a perennial. It comes back year after year. It has a little bit of a black licorice taste to it, so if you like black licorice, you'll probably like it. And it also draws in butterflies and other pollinators in the summertime.
Yeah, we've got it planted various places around the garden, but most of it is in our butterfly area, and it draws in a lot of butterflies and pollinators. It's really fun to watch when it's in bloom.
Yeah.
The second one is also a perennial. It's apple mint. We have a lot of different mint in our garden, but I think apple mint's our favorite. It's kind of the most mild and a little bit fruity for a mint. The hard part about it is it's quite aggressive. So right now we don't have it in a confined area. We need to do that still. It pretty much will take over the whole garden if we let it, so I have to just rip it out as a weed oftentimes. We do try and dehydrate these herbs when we can, but in our humid climate it's a little bit challenging to do that. So we're still working on methods to be able to dehydrate these herbs in our humid summer climate. But anyway, apple mint is a really good one if you love mint, and it's super easy to grow. It grows fantastic in our Zone 6 Missouri Ozarks.
Next one is lemon balm. It is a perennial as well. And unlike mint, it's very tidy. It stays in a nice little spot.
Yeah.
It has a nice lemon flavor to it, and it has a lot of good medicinal properties.
Yes, a lot of medicinal properties. Antiviral, helps with stress, all sorts of things. It does self-seed in some zones, but we haven't found it to do that in our zone. It stays right where you put it. It's really nice. Okay, so before we move on to the 2 annual herbs, I just wanted to make a quick note about the perennials. Anise hyssop and lemon balm both start really easily from seed. So if you're able to get seeds, that's the most cost-effective way to grow them. However, mint is a little bit more difficult to start from seed, so it's best to just buy a plant. And if you even just buy 1 apple mint plant, you'll have all the apple mint you need for the rest of your life because it spreads so aggressively. Alright, so herb number 4 is an annual. It's basil. Some of you may not think of basil as a tea herb, but it makes a fantastic tea. And the really cool thing about basil is there are tons of varieties that you can get of all different flavors. Some of our favorites are cinnamon basil, lemon basil, and red rhubarb, which kind of almost has a hint of vanilla flavor to it. So if you have not experimented with basil for tea, you've got to try it. It grows really easily from seed, and at least in our area, it just keeps growing all summer long. The more you cut it, the more it grows, and it's super abundant. I just love to walk past the basil and like pet it with my hand and smell my hand. It's so lovely. So basil is a great one. Super easy to grow from seed every year, and you can save the seed pretty easily from it as well. If you let it flower and the seeds dry, you can gather those seeds and grow it again the next year. Every once in a while in our climate it will self-seed, but it's not a reliable self-seeder for us, so we like to save seed to make sure that we get plants the next year.
Last one is roselle. We grow it from seed. It's an annual, and it's used to make hibiscus tea.
Many of you are probably familiar with hibiscus, and that lovely juicy tea that it makes. So what we do is once the flowers bloom, a little calyx is left behind on the plants, and you gather those calyxes. It's usually at the very last days before our frost comes. Sometimes we don't get a whole lot of them because it does take quite a while to mature. So we try and start the seeds early in the greenhouse, and then these plants grow from seed to huge bush by the end of the season. Ideally, usually are abundant with those red calyxes that you dry for the hibiscus tea. It also has a lot of medicinal properties. All of these herbs actually have wonderful medicinal properties that I won't go into today, but if you're interested, I did create a free short book on all of our favorite tea blends. So if you would like that free ebook, check out the link below in the description. Okay, so shall we go gather some herbs for our cold pressed tea?
Sure.
All right, we're gonna go gather up some of these herbs. We don't have all of them growing yet, but we're also gonna grab a few other herbs that we do have growing in the garden to make some cold pressed tea. Got the anise hyssop, so now we're gonna go on to the apple mint.
Next we'll get some lemon balm.
Alright, so since the basil's not ready, we actually still have it in the greenhouse. It needs to get out into our garden beds. And the hibiscus is not ready until late summer, early fall. I think today we're going to add a little bit of comfrey and spearmint. So let's go get some comfrey. We've got a red wasp visiting our comfrey plant, so we got to watch out for him while you harvest. Be careful, okay? Comfrey is another really abundant plant that grows super well here, and we use it for all sorts of things.
And it's like impossible to get rid of as well.
Yeah, which we don't mind. We feed it to the cows and the geese. The ducks love it. We make a huge barrel of comfrey tea for fertilizing the garden. We use it for our own tea, although in small quantities. If you're going to use it internally, you just want to use very small quantities and not super often.
Yeah.
But it's also good for like outside stuff for the skin healing. What else?
Sometimes we make comfrey salve.
Yeah, sometimes comfrey salve, we make that. It's also a good compost activator, so you can put it in the middle of your compost heap and it helps to activate the compost. So lots of wonderful things that you can do with comfrey.
Yep. The last thing we're gonna get is spearmint.
This is Caradonna salvia. I just had to say that. I love this plant. It's so beautiful. Alright, so here's our spearmint, and it really is a mild mint. It pairs well with apple mint and the other herbs that we've got going here. So we're gonna throw some of that in there today as well. Alright, there we go. So now we'll go get our water ready. We like to get the water for this tea from our well so that we don't use up all the water from our Berkey filter inside the house. So it's on a sunny day like today, it's solar powered, so we can go ahead and fill up the jars for the tea from the well. Usually takes a moment. There it is. We like to let it run for just a little bit, make sure it's nice and clear. leave a little bit of room on the top for the herbs. I will say there's a couple of ways that you can make this cold pressed tea. If you have a freezer with ice, then you can just use a lot of ice in with your water and your herbs to help press all the nutrition and flavor out of those herbs really quickly. We don't have ice. We do have a freezer though, so we're going to mix everything into these jars, especially the honey. If you want it sweetened with honey, you need to mix it in before you chill it, because honey doesn't like to mix in super cold water. So we're gonna put the honey and rinse and chop the herbs and put that all into these jars and then stick it in the freezer for a few hours. If you make this with ice, you probably want to let it sit in the ice water for about 30 minutes or more. If you don't use ice, if you stick it in your freezer, it's going to need a few hours to really get that flavor into the water. Just going to do a quick rinse with clean water.
We don't really measure the honey, but it's about 1/4 to 1/2 cup per gallon.
You can just drink this without any sweetener. We do sometimes mix in a little bit of stevia or a combination of stevia and honey. So you really just kind of have to figure out what you like and how sweet you like it and go from there. You want to be sure to get that honey mixed in while the water is not as cold. That's really important. Shaking wasn't working, so we're going with the spoon. You want to chop up these herbs really well. The more you chop it, the more the oils and the flavor from the herb can seep out into the water. And I just chopped the stems and all, so it doesn't have to just be the leaves. You can chop up the stems as well.
Now that we've given them a good shake, I'm gonna go stick them in the freezer.
Yep, and they should be ready by this afternoon, hopefully, in a few hours, huh?
Yep. Once it's ready to serve, we use a little stainless steel strainer like this to strain out the herbs.
Well guys, thanks for joining us on the homestead again today. If you've not tried cold pressed tea, we really hope you will try it. I think you'll love it. Before we go, we have a couple thank yous to give.
Thank you to the person that got these Levi's jeans.
Yeah, you could really use some new jeans.
Yeah.
You do have a few without holes, but
yeah,
it's nice to have another pair.
Mm-hmm.
What you working on, Caleb?
Doing some more work on Etsy shop.
Cool.
Thank you to whoever got us this rubber tub for an animal water and these tinnies, which have been super nice because my old tinnies were too small for me and were hurting my toes, so it's been really cool to walk around comfortably. And also thank you for this gorilla cart.
Yeah. Oh, it's upside down. Let me show you guys. Gorilla cart.
That'll be really handy for carrying things around.
Yeah, especially when you guys start working on your place. Hopefully you're going to be pouring a pad for your home soon, so then you can tote supplies back and forth.
Yep.
That'll be cool. We have one of these gorilla carts and it's been amazing. We use it all the time, huh?
Yep.
It's getting a little worn down though, so this new one's going to be great. Don't forget to check out the link below if you'd like my free ebook on our favorite family tea blends. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. That really helps us out. As always, thank you so much to our patrons who make these videos possible. We really appreciate you guys more than you know. Until next time, we pray blessings over you and yours. And whatever you do, do it with your whole heart.